Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back to the channel. And welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show that is your format or formula of HCW podcast that has the power of, you guessed it, two. I am your host, as always, Dan, DP, as we always say nowadays, DpuizY. Yeah. And I am joined by nobody. Once again, I'm joined by no one, but that is fine, because you know how things go. You give me the pen and I will rant. But no, do not worry, there are no rants, as far as I'm aware, this week. Back on Sundays. Last week we had to do it on the Wednesday because of just timing conflicts and stuff like that, and the deadline was there. It made more sense to get that done as well, rather than two episodes, just mix them in one and then be done with that. But yeah, this is for NXT, the 10th of December, at the Capital Wrestling Center. We've kicked things off with the recap for deadline, just the usual segments and stuff. After that, though, we are joined by the Women's Iron Survivor, Giulia. Giulia's here, and she declares that she will win the Women's NXT Championship at New Year's Evil. After that, out comes Roxanne Perez. She mocks Giulia and says that she's not on Roxanne's level, and that the deadline in the Iron Survivor match proved why NXT has the best women's roster in wrestling. She says that New Year's Evil will be the same old. Giulia will fall short to Roxanne, and that's if she even makes it to New Year's Evil. Giulia then suggests that they have the match now, which cues Cora Jade to appear with a baseball bat. That bat's going to be important later on. And then Cora says basically that Stephanie Vicaire won't come to Giulia's aid because she's been taken out, and it cues some sort of VT on the Titantron that shows Vicaire's been taken out and she's being seen to by personnel. Giulia then swings at Roxanne and knocks her down, but then Cora takes her down with the bat, and the pair of them beat down on Giulia, and this on goes until Kalani Jordan comes in to make the save. And they both clear out Roxanne and Cora, and it seems that's going to be the main event tonight. Just saying. After this, we go backstage. We get a little recap of Ethan Page's promo, of his interview. They had a deadline at the end after the Iron Survivor match. And it pans out to the locker room, where it shows that the locker room are watching the promo. And everyone's sort of down about it, or they're commenting on it, or like, oh, what does it mean? Turns out Ethan's also here in the locker room when in come the family, Tony D'Angelo, Stax, and Lucas Crucifino. Tony D says that Ethan's bringing down the mood, but Tony also says that he's got a soft spot for Ethan, so to try and cheer him up, he's going to give him a North American title shot. Ethan declines as he feels the North American title is too beneath him. So Tony then offers it out to the room, to which Ethan suddenly is like, no, I'll take it. I will take it. Don't know why that's the case, but whatever. Ethan also says that if he can't beat Tony D, his career may as well be over. More on that later. Backstage now, still, Lexis King is with Charlie Dempsey. Lexis is like, I've been on a mission of self-improvement and redemption, and I've improved, and I want another shot at the Heritage Cup. And Charlie laughs it off at first, but he does say that he'll think it over and give that to him later. And then Lexis leaves. In come the rest of the Ren QCC, so Ren Sinclair, Tavian Heights, and Miles Bourne. And he praises them all, basically, saying, you guys are so close, we had titles, Ren, you did so well in Iron Survivor, that stuff. Then in come OTM, who get in their faces, along with Jada Parker, who gets in Ren's face. I will say Ren backs off because she doesn't want the smoke. After this, though, we do go into the first match of the night, which is between Javon Evans and Wes Lee. This came about because of the segment that aired at Deadline where Wes attacked Javon in a joint interview. and that's why this is happening. I don't know why we're doing it, but we're doing it. Javon wins with the pop-up corkscrew splash. I don't know what it's called. Doesn't got a name yet. I don't know if I've called it the right word there. And I rated it 3.25 stars. It was a match that was built off of a segment that happened at Deadline. It was built purely on speed, adrenaline, and high-flying moves, which if that's your thing, then fair enough. It's not really my thing. Just put it out there. It's not really my thing. But I can't deny that I enjoy watching it. This win, however, does put Javon at 2 wins over Wesley. The first being one of the shows in Philadelphia on the 6th of November. The same show that had the Trick team of Bobby Dudley against Ridge and Ethan Page, as well as the 10 women tag main event as well. That's, I think Vicaire, was it? Pinned Roxanne? Or Giulia pinned Roxanne? It was one of those two. Anyway, it'll be fun to see what happens to Wesley, because I think they're doing stuff with him now and he's losing matches and stuff, which is going to add more to the fuel, you know? The fire. While for Javon, it's a step to, assumably, in my mind, getting him to the world title scene. I personally don't think he's there just yet, but he will be in the near future. Just not yet. But this was a decent TV match that got a good amount of time. It went about 12 minutes, which is pretty good. You know, pretty good for TV matches, absolutely. So after this, we go backstage with the NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxiom, which is Nathan Frazier and Axiom for those who are uninitiated. We see a healing fractured Fraxiom, apparently, as they're both very complimentary of each other. They're not heated or angry at each other, there's nothing like that, there's no argument, nothing like that. And it ultimately ends with Axiom saying that he'll do anything for Nathan because they're partners, and that's honestly quite sweet, and I did like that development between them. Nathan says that he'll fix this though, as he feels it's been unfair that Axiom carried the match at Deadline. But before we move on from this, I'm going to debut a new segment of sorts. I'm going to call it Question of the Week. That's a working title. I'll probably change it at some point in the future, but that's going to be an ongoing thing. Every week I'm going to just pose a question and throw it out into the universe. Make it a short, I don't know, but throw it out there. Let me know in the comments what you think the answer is. Or there's no correct answer, by the way. It's one of these, like, you know what, like, not it's like a rhetorical question, but also a question that hasn't really got an answer yet. Just sort of post your own answers, and we'll see what comes back. So in this segment, we see both Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I'll put a little screenshot up now. Axiom's got his title belt. Nathan's got his. Axiom's got a hot cup of coffee or tea or something like that. And my question is, how does Axiom drink his hot drinks or drinks his drinks in general? Because that mask is there's no hole there. There's no hole there for the mask. It's all covered. So how does Axiom drink his drinks? Let me know down below. Moving on. We go backstage with Giulia and Kalani. It's a medical update on Vicaire. Vicaire's still banged up, but she's doing alright. And then Kalani lashes out on the mic to Roxanne and Cora, where meanwhile Giulia shouts in Japanese. That's roughly the main of it there. Backstage still in the locker room now. Sol Ruka's here with Zarya. They're both lament over the Irons of Arrow match and that they didn't win the match. When in comes Metaphor, just Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, who antagonise the pair of them, and Lash gets in Jakara's face, and Jakara calls Sol delusional. As you do. After this, we go on to the second match of the night, which was Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, honk, taking on Tyson Dupont and Tyreek Igwe. This is, of course, the battle of teams with no team names. So will the winning team get an official team name here? Probably not. Hank and Tank win with the running power slam and leaping tackle combination that hasn't got a name yet. I rated this 2.25 stars. I mean, it was alright. I'm always happy for Hank and Tank win. And they're actually winning a good amount of matches now on NXT. So that could be a very good possibility in the future that they're getting closer and closer to tag titles potentially. But also the main thing as well, they're getting more and more experience in the ring. So the more matches they have, the more they're going to learn, and the more they can then implement into their future matches. And that's key. That is absolutely key in my opinion. Tyson and Tariq did a good job here as well, but the result was a little bit obvious considering what they're building to and who's winning matches and who's not, etc. You know. Anyway, post match, respect is shown between Hangtang and Tyson DuPont. However, Igwe wants none of this and he's annoyed. He walks out basically, followed by Tyson. I like that we're getting this little bit of the slow tension building, the slow storyline progression, character development, whatever you want to call it. With Tariq and Tyson, I can't wait to see what happens with that, because they've got different ideologies on tag team wrestling, like show respect or don't show respect. So we'll see. Okay, after this we go back to the ring for an in-ring segment with the men's Iron Survivor, Oba Femi. And for the first time, I'm going to try and recreate the strut. If I had more space, I would do like the full walk thing, but I haven't got space for it, so I can't do that. He's here, and he reveals he's a big fan of Cilla Black. Surprise, surprise! Sorry, I had to get that in there. He talks about Deadline, and he talks about how on New Year's Eve he'll reclaim his rightful spot as the ruler of NXT. I will say, as he talks as well, he pauses in between the sentences so people can go, "Whoo!" And I'm completely there for it. I like that. He's like, I won Deadline. Whoo! I'm going to take my title back. I'm going to rule NXT once again. It's stupid, but I like it. He then talks about Trick Williams and how they've both been very dominant in their own divisions. And now he does say a line where he says like they've not directly had contact with each other. And I've used the very picture that proves otherwise in a thumbnail, where they both were champions and they both like sort of stared each other on the rampway. I know what he's saying, but literally speaking, that's not the case. So, quick lie there, Oba. Unfortunately, though, after he talks about Trick, here comes Trick. They have a little stare down in the ring, and before either of them can say anything, here comes Eddie Thorpe. Now, what does Eddie want? Eddie declares that Oba was the one who took him out last week and took his place in the Iron Survivor. Oba's offended by this and asks if Eddie saw who attacked him. Eddie says that he didn't and he got attacked from behind, but he's never felt such power before, that there's only one person on the roster who possesses that kind of power, and that's Oba Femi. Oba thanks him for the compliment and basically says he accused him of this egregious act. He says, like, because he alluded to it in the past before, he said, I think recently he was accused of attacking someone else, and he mentions that if he was going to attack someone, he'd do it from the front, not from the back. So, with that in mind, he then says, okay, Eddie, fun talk, goodbye now, and turns to Trick. And he and Trick promo at each other for a good minute or two, while Eddie Thorpe is still in the ring. Eddie's there, he's saying whatever, he's like, he's laughing or whatever. Then Oba declares that New Year's Eve they'll clash, and Oba will take the men's NXT Championship. Also, he didn't say men's, that's me editing it on. And it will be the end of Trick's era. Come on, Oba. Oba, we're relying on you. Oba, please do it. Oba then leaves, and Eddie stops Trick from stopping Oba. Eddie Thorpe calls Trick a manufactured sports entertainer. Eddie Thorpe, where the fuck have you been? You see the vision, Eddie. Eddie, get on the podcast so we can both chat shit about Trick Williams. No, but seriously, it's so good to hear someone else say it. And the fact that it was said after the fact of the show. Well, no, technically, actually, no, I was saying, because technically the show was released after NXT came out. So, technically speaking, it's not him stealing anything. But I'm going to say it is him stealing that from me, from my little rant I had last week. Anyway, Eddie wants a title match for his troubles, but as recuperance for his issues that he's had. Strickland cuts him off, saying he's sick of the doubters. He's sick of the people who doubted him. And he says that he has no issues whooping all their asses. So he accepts Eddie's challenge and tells Ava to set it up. And then he attacks Eddie unprovoked. Okay. Great face champion there, Trick. However, Eddie laughs over it. He's got what he wanted, apparently. So, there we go. After this, though, we go backstage. Fatal Influence have seemingly have issues, as they both JC and Fallon seem to think different things. So, JC thinks Gigi's back. She's obsessed with JC. Meanwhile, Fallon thinks Gigi's back because she wants the Women's North American title. Who knows? Meanwhile, though, Gigi and Tatum are talking, and they realise that they have a disadvantage, as they are only two to Fatal Influence's three. Tatum, however, apparently has got a new friend on the way that we don't know about just yet. However, we don't find out who that is because in comes Izzy Dame to provoke and antagonise Gigi, and then poor Tatum here is getting sandwiched in between them as they're arguing. Then in comes Sean Spears and co, Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance to ward off Izzy and Gigi and Tatum get out of there. Sean then seemingly wants to also try and recruit Izzy to his cause, but Izzy wants none of it and walks off because she knows her own worth, she says. After this, we go into the third match of the night. Fatal Influence, Jessie Jane and Fallon. Jessie Jane and Jasmine Nix, taking on Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. And who would win here? Mean Girls or Goth Girls? Well, the answer would be Fatal Influence when JC hits the rolling encore, which is at the elbow, on Tatum Paxley. I rated this 2 stars. The match was roughly 3 minutes. And the main goal here was to emphasise that Gigi and Tatum need a third person to counteract the third Fatal Influence member. It was alright, but when there's no real interesting goal, you're sort of in a place where nothing can get achieved. And it's good though that Gigi's getting more time in the ring to ward off any ring rust. Although I will say it wasn't as obvious in this match, but that's because it's a tag match. So she's not on camera that much to actually showcase itself. After the match, though, the beatdown comes on as Fatal attack Tatum Paxley. Gigi attempts to make the save, but however, she's also coming up short and is also attacked. The 3-on-2 attack is now ongoing until a returning Shotzi appears to make the save. And she does that, makes the save, and they clear house. So it seems Gigi and Tatum have found their third person. After this, we catch back up with Fraxiom, if you remember. Nathan wanted to go sort things out for Axiom and go see Ava about something. However, Axiom has news. He's spoken to Ava as well, and to get a match booked for next week. He's asked for himself against Oba Femi. Why? Do I know? I can't help but feel it's a little bit stupid, but it is what it is. Should be fun. On the other hand, we've got Nathan, who's also here and looking in disbelief as Axiom was telling them this, because he's also got a match for next week, which is a tag title match, but it's not revealed yet against who that is yet, but it's Gallus, basically, who they're facing. Axiom is questioning this, so he'll be in 2 matches next week, and he's visibly annoyed by it. Nathan tries to cheer him up by asking how bad could it be. Axiom asks him if he's seen his face. As in Nathan's face, but I think Nathan thought he meant his own face. And then Nathan says, I can't, you wear a mask. Again, little silly, little whatever it is, but I'm fine with it, honestly. It's fine. After this, we go to the 4th and penultimate match of the night. It's for the Men's NXT North American Championship, as champion Tony D'Angelo defends against Ethan Page. The sympathy title shot this is. Would Tony lose? The very much he suggested, because he felt bad for Ethan? And the answer would be no. Because Tony D wins and retains following a reversed Ego's Edge into a spinebuster. So I rated this 3.5 stars. Quite enjoyed this. It was obvious what the result was going to be. However, that did not stop me from enjoying this match. This was a good one. They had chemistry as well, which is, I think, the first time I've said that about Ethan Page on NXT, at least his run. So this win will do a lot more for Tony D in his reign in terms of status of it. But also helps with pushing whatever's going on with Ethan Page. We'll get more on that soon. It's just quite weird knowing that Ethan's next step is most likely not for the men's world title. But saying that, I'm okay with it. And it'll be fun to see where they go from there. Backstage now, Lexus King meets with Ryan Leaf, who is apparently an NFL guy. I don't know. Ryan basically commends him on what he's been doing and is pleased to see his progress and is excited for what is next. Then we had Chai Dempsey, who appears to let Lexus know that he will give Lexus the title match that he wanted, but first he must survive a workout with him, with Charlie, that is. After this, we go into the parking lot area. It's Ethan Page. Ethan's in a bad state. He's lost his way. He doesn't think he's all ego anymore. He thinks he's lost and ashamed. And that's about the crux of it. I feel like they're going to try and lead a story though with Ethan Page and Sean Spears. Just him using the word lost is some sort of buzzword that Sean uses in his recruitment stuff. That I think with a chance. But yeah, I don't think Ethan joins the ranks of Sean Spears. I think it's just sort of a mini feud with Sean, personally. Yeah, not necessarily Ethan would join the ranks of Sean Spears, but it's just a sort of mini feud with Sean Spears. And after this, we go into the 5th match and the main event of tonight. It's a tag match. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade taking on Giulia and Kalani Jordan. Who would come out on top? And the answer would be Cora and Roxanne, following a double underhook DDT from Cora onto Kalani. I rated this 3 3/4 stars. See, I rated this 3 3/4 stars. It was the right move. Roxanne needed a win over Giulia, and Cora absolutely needed a win. This is her first TV win in a match since she came back. The story was basic, and it was kind of obvious what they were doing here, with Kalani being the stand-in partner for Fakir. So it was kind of obvious to me that she would want to take the fall in this match. However, still a great match. I like the feel the match had and the aura that it gave off. Like it was just a basic tag match, but it was so much more than that as well. In the post-match, Fakir is here. She takes Cora's baseball bat away from her and breaks it in two. She then chases Cora and out of the building. Nice. Good bit of build, a good bit of feud build up too, and noticeably not for any sort of title. It's just a feud. I like that. And after this, we go to the final segment of the show, which is Eddie Thorpe and Ava in Ava's office. Eddie signed the contract for the title match next week against Trick, and Ava reassures him they're looking into who attacked Eddie. So after this, we go into the final segment with Eddie Thorpe and Ava in Ava's office. Eddie signing the contract for his title match next week against Trick Williams, and Ava reassures him they're looking into who attacked Eddie, when Eddie suddenly comes back up to them and says, "Oh, I know who it was." And then Ava's like, "Excuse me?" And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, you're looking at him." He reveals that he was the one who set it up, the whole thing, the attack and all that. There was no attack. He just put himself out the match so he didn't have to compete in a 25-minute torture match. So, fair play to Eddie Thorpe. Fair play. This whole episode's been about Eddie Thorpe, so fair play. I can get down with that. Good job, Eddie. I know Eddie's not winning the match, but can he win it? It'd be quite fun, I reckon. And with that in mind, that does bring an end to NXT. As always, if you like the video, you can share the video to your friends and your family. You can like the video, you can comment on the video, say what you like, say what you dislike. Do you want to see me cover anything else on this show squared? As I said earlier, I'm by myself for this one, because Craig himself is just not well at the moment, so get well soon. And as for the President crew, they're just not free. You know, the schedule's conflict as always. But yeah, if you want to follow the shows out, our social medias are just below here. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, now known as X. I'll put a little thing of Blue Sky as well, because we're on Blue Sky. So please follow us there too. If you feel so inclined, but don't feel I need to, I'm also on Twitter or X as DpuizY. Just here, DpuizY, just here. And yeah, let's bring an end to this. I have been Dan, DpuizY, and this has been episode 69, nice, of HCW Show Squared. Peace.